Hi, I'll be discussing about direction sense and some important questions related to it, like actually a type of question related to it. And you can skip to the timestamp if you want to see which questions I'm going to be discussing, or you can check in the comments or in the description for the questions. Okay, and I'll begin. So, right now, these are the important points which I have listed here for my questions which I'm going to cover. First of all, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Now, what is the significance of this fact? You will get to know eventually. Now, I'm going to cover the cardinal directions. Okay, these are the main directions, right? North, south, west, and east. Okay. Now, this point here is important. So, when you stand in the north, so if you're standing like this, right? If you're standing like this, facing towards the north, you will see that your west is towards here and your east is towards here. But if you are standing here facing towards south, you will see that your east is toward here and your west is toward here. Again, this is a very important thing. You might not see the significance of this, and also you might not have understood this fact. So I will be explaining it with the help of a 3D model.
Hi, so I'll be explaining the north, south, west, east thing. And I want you to assume one thing that you are facing in the north direction, irrespective of where you are sitting. Right? You are facing in the north direction. Now you have assumed that. So you are facing here, right, in this north direction. For you, the west will be towards here and the east will be towards here. Okay. So you are facing in the north and your west will be here, your east will be here. Okay. So basically your left hand will point towards west and your right hand will point towards east. Now I am facing in the south, right? Or maybe another man which is sitting beside you is facing in the south. If he is facing in the south, his east will be in this direction and his west will be in this direction. Now you'd say, how is that possible? So if I want to show you, this is how it's possible. Okay, now I have inverted the south so that it's facing towards this direction. So here you can see it's his west is here and his east is here. And this is what I told you right now. One second. I told you that his west will be here and his east will be here. So now one basic thing you have to understand that when a man is facing towards the north, his west is here in this direction and his east is here. But when a man is facing towards south, then with respect to my frame, basically I am sitting in the north now. So for me, his west will be here and his east will be here. And that's pretty much it.
Now, this is the last point, that the shadow of an object is cast in the direction opposite to the direction of sun. So now what does this mean? I'll tell you with an example. So suppose this is my object and my sun here lies in the east. Okay. So now it's obvious that if the sun is here, then its rays will come like this and the shadow will form here. And in which direction is this shadow forming? I can say it's forming in the west. So it's a simple logic. Now another example if I want to take. My sun is here in the west. Okay. So my shadow, it will form in the east. Right. It's intuitive because if my sun is in this direction, then my shadow will form in the direction opposite. And that's what I have stated here. Right. It's just a bit complex terms, but it's more of an intuitive thing. Now, so if I want to go on to the questions, this is the first question. One morning after sunrise, Ram was standing facing a pole. So first of all, I'll write this. I'll draw this. In fact, so he was facing a pole. Okay, so this is suppose the pole. And now, if I want to represent Ram, I can represent him by an arrow. Okay. Now the shadow of the pole fell exactly to his right. Which direction was he facing? Now, how do I tell what is his right, what is his left? So first of all, here I have drawn an arbitrary arrow facing in any direction. Now, if I want to tell which direction it is, I will say that it is in the direction I am facing. Okay. So I am sitting like this, right? I am facing here to this direction. And even my Ram is facing to this direction. Here I have not named the direction. I have just said that he is sitting in my direction. I have not said that he is sitting in the north direction. I mean, he's facing the north or he's facing the south. I have not said anything like that. I have just assumed that he is facing the direction which I am facing. And you know why I've done this? So it simplifies my calculations because my left and his left are corresponding, meaning that my left is towards here and even his left is towards here. My right is towards here and even his right is towards here. Okay. So now it says fell exactly to his right. The shadow of the pole fell exactly to his right. So this will be his right. So meaning the shadow will fall over here. Okay, this will be the shadow of the pole towards the right. Now I told you that the sun faces in the direction opposite to the direction of the shadow, meaning the sun must be here. Okay. Now one more thing here is given that one morning after sunrise. What does this tell us? That the sun must be in the east direction. Because here I told you that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So according to this, after sunrise would mean that the sun is technically in the east direction. So this has to be the east direction. And this means that the shadow will be in the west direction. Now we had established another rule here, that when our directions look like this, east here and west here, it means that I am facing towards the south. And that's it. That's pretty much it, that the answer is towards the south. So I'll repeat what I did here. First of all, I took a pole and I took an arrow. Now this arrow represents Ram. Okay, this arrow represents Ram. Now I said that Ram is facing in the direction I am facing. So I am facing in this direction and Ram is also facing in this direction. And why did I do this? Because my left and his left are exactly same. My right and his right are exactly same. And if I wanted to ask you that suppose I am facing here and Ram is facing in this direction. So my left will be here, but his left will not be here. His left will actually be here. I mean, think about it, just visualize it. If you're sitting like this in the direction opposite to the direction I am facing, so your left will be towards here, right? In this direction. And my left will be here. And we don't want that. That will create too much confusion. So what I did here is that I assumed that Ram is facing the direction I am facing. Now I said that the shadow falls exactly to his right. So his right will be my right, and my right is towards this direction. So meaning the shadow of the pole will be towards here. Now they are asking in which direction Ram is facing. So I said one basic thing, that if the shadow is forming here, sun must be here. Now sun rises in the east, right? So this must be the east and the shadow must be forming in the west. And now according to this rule, that when our directions look like this, it means that we are standing in the south. So Ram must be standing in the south. Moving on to the next one. One morning, Uday and Vishal were talking to each other face to face at a crossing. If Vishal's shadow was exactly to the left of Uday, which direction was Uday facing? Now what I'll do is that I'll draw two arrows here. Here I drew a pole and an arrow. Here I'll draw two arrows, like this and like this. Now to decide which arrow is which boy. So first of all, I'll see that I have to find the left of Uday, not the left of Vishal. So I will, for my convenience, I will make Uday sit in a direction in which I am also facing. So I am facing in this direction, therefore Uday must be facing in this direction. Matlab this one must be Uday. This one is Uday. And this one has to be Vishal then, because they are facing each other, right? And there are only two boys involved in this problem, Vishal and Uday. So if this one is Uday and this one is Vishal, right? Now I want to find the left of Uday. The left of Uday must be this. Why? Because I am facing in this direction. My left is this, my right is this. So this must be the left of Uday. And this is where Vishal's shadow is forming. So I will say Vishal's shadow is forming in this direction. This means that sun must be here, because sun is always in the direction opposite to the direction of shadow. Now here it says that it's a morning. Okay, so it's a morning, meaning we can safely assume, at least for this question, that sun must be in the east. Now I know morning does not mean sun is in the direct east. It's maybe northeast type, right? But just for the simplicity, just for sake of simplicity, I am saying it's in the east. And also if you check our options, they are like that only, right? East, west, north, south. If they wanted to make it very complex, they would have put northeast, northwest. But here they have only put this much. So for the sake of simplicity, I am also assuming that the sun is in the east, full in the east. Now, this means that this direction must be the west. Now you tell me that when our directions look like this, west here, when our directions look like this, west here and east here, what does it mean? In which direction I am facing? It means that I am facing in the north direction, right? If we look here, when I am facing in the north direction, my directions look like here, this. See? And therefore, which direction was Uday facing? Uday was facing in the north direction. Now, if they had asked Vishal was facing in which direction, I would have said south. Why? Because Vishal and Uday are talking face to face, meaning they are facing in opposite directions. That's why they can talk face to face, no? Because Vishal must be facing in one direction and Uday must be facing in the opposite direction to this. Now, third question. During her morning walk in the park, Tanya saw Monica coming from the opposite direction. Okay. They greeted each other and had a face to face chatting. If Monica's shadow was to the right of Tanya, then which direction was Monica facing? Now, here I have to find the right of Tanya. Okay. So, I will take this as a clue to put Tanya in the direction I am facing. So, this one will be Tanya. I'll write it also. This one will be Tanya. And the one facing opposite will be Monica. Tanya is facing my direction, right? This one will be Tanya, this one will be Monica. Now I want to find the right of Tanya, which will be here. So this must be Monica's shadow. Okay, this will be Monica's shadow. Like this. This must mean that sun is here. Right? And now again they have said morning walk. Morning walk tells us that the sun must be in the east. Again, just for the sake of simplicity, I have put it as east, right? And you're right in saying that morning walk means, it does not mean that sun is in the east, but as this is a logic problem, which is a more simpler one, that's why I'm going to say that sun is in the east. Now, if the sun is in the east, Monica's shadow will form in the west. And when my directions look like this, it means that I am facing in the south, or rather Tanya is facing in the south. Okay, now they have like gotten tricky here. They have said that which direction was Monica facing, not Tanya. Okay, so here Monica must be facing in opposite direction, just like I told you here. Monica must be facing in opposite direction to have a face-to-face chatting, as if they have used the term. Okay, so Monica must be facing in the opposite direction. If Tanya is facing in south, Monica must be facing in north. One morning after sunrise, Sumesh and Ratheesh were standing on a lawn with their backs towards each other. Sumesh's shadow fell exactly towards his left hand side. Which direction was Ratheesh facing? So here the situation is a bit different. They're standing with their backs to each other. So I can draw two arrows like this. What's the difference in these arrows and the arrows I drew in the previous question? Here at the previous question, the arrowheads were facing each other. Here the tails are facing each other. The arrowheads represent their faces, you can see, and the tails represent their backs. Okay. Now they have said that Sumesh and Ratheesh are standing. Fine. Then Sumesh shadow fell exactly towards his left hand side. So now I will assume Sumesh's direction in the direction I am sitting, just for sake of simplicity, for my convenience. So Sumesh will be sitting in this direction. Why? Because I am facing in this direction. So Sumesh must also be facing in this direction according to my convenience, right? For my convenience, I have put Sumesh in this direction. And this does not change anything. You can put Sumesh in this direction also. You will get the same thing. You will get the same thing. So Sumesh is in this direction. So Ratheesh must be in this direction. Sumesh's shadow fell exactly towards his left hand side, meaning his shadow fell over here. Meaning the sun must be over here. Okay. Now they said one morning after sunrise, meaning sun is in the east. If sun is in the east, meaning the Sumesh's shadow will fall in the west. So now my directions are like this, west and east. What does that mean? That means that Sumesh here is facing the north. You understanding? Because Sumesh's shadow falls in the west, then the sun is in the east. So meaning he must be facing in the north, right, for this to happen. And Ratheesh will be facing in the direction opposite to Sumesh. Because if Sumesh is facing in this direction, as you can see by the diagram, Ratheesh is facing in this direction. Therefore, Ratheesh must be facing in the south direction because Sumesh is facing north. Moving on to the fifth question, Ram and Raj are talking with their back towards each other. If Ram's shadow is to the right of Raj in the morning, then which direction was Ram facing? So similar, like how I drew my diagram here, similarly I'll draw the diagram here. The arrows will be facing with their tails towards each other, like this. Okay, so Ram and Raj are with their backs towards each other. Okay, so here it will be, if Ram's shadow is to the right of Raj in the morning. Now here they have said to the right of Raj. So here they have just framed it in another way. We can also say that to the right of Raj, Ram's shadow is there. Right. So they have framed this in another way just to confuse us. So here I will take Raj in my direction and Ram in this direction. Why? Because I want to find Raj is right. I want to find Raj right. The right of Raj, not the right of Ram. I want to find Ram's shadow. And where is Ram's shadow? To the right of Raj. Therefore, I will put Raj in that direction in which I am facing. So I can find the right of Raj in an easier way. Now, the right of Raj will be to this direction. Okay, this direction. Therefore, Ram's shadow will be towards here, according to question. And if Ram's shadow is here, sun must be here. In the morning, it says. So, in the morning, meaning that the sun will be in the east, Ram's shadow will be in the west. And once you get this concept, it's clear you can do the best. This means that Raj will be facing in the south. East here, west here, south there. That was our rule. So Raj will be facing in the south. Now they are asking which direction was Ram facing. Ram will be facing in opposite direction. Like this is like the last question. So Raj is facing in this direction and Ram is facing in opposite direction. So accordingly, Ram will be facing in the north direction. Okay. Just before sunset, Veena and Zeba were talking to each other standing face to face. If Veena saw Zeba's shadow to be exactly towards the right of Zeba, which direction was Veena facing? So Veena and Zeba were talking to each other standing face to face. So now my arrows will look like this. And as I said before, that the face represents, the arrow represents the face and the tail, it represents the back. Okay, so they're standing face to face, meaning I'll draw my arrows meeting each other like this. Now I want to find the right of Zeba. So I will put Zeba in a direction I am facing and Veena will be in the other direction. The right of Zeba will be towards this direction and therefore the shadow will also be here. Okay, now the shadow is here, so my sun will be here. Now you have to be careful here. They said just before sunset, and I told you that when the sun rises, it rises in the east and it sets in the west. So here just before sunset, the sun will technically be in the west and not in the east. So here we were assuming the sun in the east, not assuming. We were deducing from the information that sun will be in the east. But here we see that the sun will be in the west because it's before sunset. Now the sun's in the west, meaning this direction is the east. West, east, north. It's as simple as that. Meaning Zeba will be facing towards north. Now they are asking direction of Veena, which is in the opposite direction. Because Zeba is facing in north, Veena is facing opposite. What is opposite to north? It's south. Now, one evening before sunset, two friends, Amit and Sunil, were talking to each other face to face. Okay. So it will be like this. If Sunil's shadow was exactly to his left side, so Sunil's shadow will be to his left side, meaning I will put Sunil in the direction I am facing. And Amit will be in this direction. Sunil's shadow is exactly to his left side, not Amit's left side, his left side. So Sunil's left side will be here, meaning Sunil's shadow will be here. Okay, and that means sun will be here. If sun is here, and they have said evening before sunset, meaning this direction will be the west according to our previous question's logic, because the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Therefore, this direction will be the east, west, east, meaning Sunil must be facing in the south. If Sunil is facing in the south, then in which direction is Amit facing? Opposite direction. This will be the north. It's as simple as that. Now, this is a bit tricky question. One morning at 8 a.m., Navneet and Ravneet were standing on a lawn with their backs towards each other at the distance of 100 meters. This information is rubbish, if I want to say in layman's terms, because it is not going to help us. Navneet's shadow fell exactly towards his left hand side. After 15 minutes, Ravneet turns 135-degree anti-clockwise. Which direction is Ravneet facing now? So this underlined information is of no use to us. Now, if I want to say that Navneet and Ravneet were standing on their lawn with backs towards each other, meaning they were standing like this. Case 1. Or rather, you can say at 8 a.m. Okay. You can say that this was the situation at 8 a.m. So, now I want to find Navneet's left side. Right, Navneet's shadow fell exactly towards his left hand side. So by my technique, I will put Navneet in the direction I am facing, and Ravneet will be in this direction. Navneet's left hand side will be here. Sun will be here. Now if the sun is here, that means, and also it's morning, so sun will be in the east. That means this direction will be the west. And if this is the west, this is the east, then Navneet must be facing in the north. And Ravneet must be facing in the south. Okay. Now we know that Ravneet's direction is south. Now they said that at 8:15 a.m. Ravneet turns 135-degree anti-clockwise. I don't know why. It was his wish. He did it. Anyways. So we know Ravneet's direction. Now everything else is irrelevant. We just needed Ravneet's original direction. Now that we know Ravneet's original direction, which is like this, we can draw cardinal directions. We can draw the cardinal directions. And now we can rotate this by 135-degree anti-clockwise. We can rotate Ravneet by 135-degree anti-clockwise. First of all, anti-clockwise will be in this direction. So if this is a clock, so the clock generally goes like this, right? I mean, I hope it goes like this. If it doesn't, then you really need to call someone to check the clock. So if it's going like this direction is called your clockwise direction. And if it's going like this, okay, this is also the clockwise. But suppose if it's going like this, in a direction opposite, the hour hand and the minute hand are going like this, then this direction will be called anti-clockwise. So here my anti-clockwise direction will be towards this direction here, right? Now they said 135-degree anti-clockwise. So here I know that this is a 90-degree angle. So 135 can be broken up into two parts, 90 and 45. And how will this help? I'll show you right now. So first of all, Ravneet is originally in south. So he first went 90-degree anti-clockwise, like this. Then we have to calculate the 45-degree anti-clockwise rotation. So how will we do that? We will draw a median line here and say that this is 45-degree anti-clockwise. And now this direction will be northeast. Therefore, answer is northeast. And I'm pretty sure you might not have understood this. So I'll explain it right now. So what happened? That this is a 90-degree angle. Okay. Now 45-degree angle will be half of 90, right? So I can draw angle bisector like this. This will be the 45-degree angle. Now what I did here is that I drew my directions, and first of all I wanted to find the 135-degree anti-clockwise rotation. So first I did 90-degree anti-clockwise, because 135 equal to 90 plus 45. So first I did 90-degree anti-clockwise. Then to find that 45-degree anti-clockwise, I made an angle bisector like this. And then I rotated him by another 45 degree. And now I saw that this direction actually lies between north and east, and therefore I named it as northeast. Okay, this is the official name. I haven't just named it arbitrarily. It's the official name, that any direction lying between north and east can be treated as northeast. So this here was my south, this was my east, this my north, and this my west. And this is how I got the northeast direction.